Today, I'll show you my salary as a Microsoft software engineer. I'll also share with you my expenses and the surprising amount that I end up taking home. And I'll top it off sharing with you the single thing I would have done differently to be much further along today in my financial journey. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Juan Carlos, and in my free time, I enjoy making videos about what I learned about career and life in tech. The average salary for a big tech software engineer in the US ranges from $100,000 to well over $500,000. This puts you way above the average US salary of $54,132. But in tech, it's pretty common for your salary to be a combination of different things. First, there's your base salary. This is the fixed amount you'll see in your bank account every month. It's reliable and forms the core of your compensation. But in tech, that's just the beginning. You also often get performance-based bonuses. These are typically tied to individual and company performance, but you're likely seeing it at 10 to 20% increase. Then there's the signing bonus. This isn't a welcome gift as much as a strategic tool. These can range from a few thousand to well over 100,000 at top companies. And they're designed to offset the opportunity cost of changing jobs, since you will only get the theoretical 100,000. It will be slowly unlocked for you over a certain number of years to incentivize you to stay within the company. Lastly, in your average tech compensation, there's equity. This is where it gets really interesting. Companies often offer stock options or restricted stock units as part of their compensation packages. This aligns employees' interests with the company's for long-term success. If the company's value grows, so does the value of your equity. And as you climb the career ladder in tech, you will likely see a shift in your compensation structure. Entry-level positions often lean heavily on base salary. But as you move into more senior roles, you'll typically see a higher proportion of your compensation in equity and variable pay. This can dramatically increase your earning potential, but it also comes with the increased risk and complexity. The thing to take away though is that it's not just about the salary number, it's about the total package and how it aligns with your financial goals and risk tolerance. So let's see at how this all looks for me. First up, base salary. This is the steady income that hits my bank account every month. Currently, my annual base pay is $164,640. It's the foundation of my compensation package. Next, we have the annual bonus. This year, I received $19,100. Now, like we just mentioned, these aren't guaranteed, but when they do come, it's definitely a nice boost. Now, these two components, base salary and bonus, make up the cash portion of my compensation, totaling $183,740. Now, over the last year, I was granted $26,400 in stock. I'm in what is often called the dip, the moment where all of your signing bonus is vested or unlocked, and your yearly stock compensation drastically decreases. This is also where a lot of people in tech seek to make a job change. That aside though, this is the riskier part of my compensation since the stock's value can go up and down based on Microsoft's market performance. Lastly, there's an often overlooked component: benefits. Microsoft estimates a contribution of about $24,000 per year towards my benefits package. This covers things like health insurance, retirement contributions, and other perks that significantly add to my overall compensation.
Such as salary, benefits, etc., insurance.
When we add all of these components together, base salary, bonus, stock grants, and benefits, my total compensation comes to $234,248. Comparing this to industry standards, my compensation is definitely competitive, but not at the top end of the scale. In other companies, total compensation packages for similar roles can go well over $300,000. Now, this is definitely a lot of money, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity of having one of these high-paying jobs. But this number isn't a very accurate representation of what my lifestyle actually looks like. So later in the video, I'll also show you exactly how much I take home and how I usually spend it. The relationship between time and money for me is an interesting one. I can trade my time for money like I do with my job, and I can sometimes trade my money for time, like when I pay for someone to come deep clean my apartment every couple of weeks. And since I'm at a point where I don't have the net worth to use money to make more money, for me, a conversation about personal finances is really also one about time management and productivity, which is single-handedly the skill that has yielded the highest ROI in my life. Working for Microsoft, doing YouTube, coding side projects, and also trying to improve my health and fitness has been really pushing the limits of my time. I've made entire videos about some of my productivity systems, but I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a new one I've been using: time blocking. mostly because I would often sit down intending to be productive and I would gravitate to the work that offered least resistance. I would work on the fun stuff and often neglect the things that were the most important and maybe not as fun. Time blocking has allowed me to not even have to think about what I'll do whenever I sit down to work. It's been pre-planned for me by past me, and I finally found an app to help me with this, Akiflow, which are also very kindly sponsoring this video. I've been looking for a way to integrate my to-do list system with my calendar for ages, and the fact that I hadn't found a good way to do that meant that I would often neglect my calendar. And the problem about just sticking with my to-do list is that I wasn't intentional about when I should get many of my tasks done. Akiflow addressed this exact problem by talking to both my to-doist setup and my Google Calendar. Let me show you. This is what I see when I log on to Akiflow. My calendar view on the right, as I would see it on Google Calendar, and my to-do list on the left. So let's start with a mind-blowing feature for me. I can simply drag and drop Todoist tasks onto my Google Calendar to create time blocks associated with those tasks. It's something so simple, but something I've been wishing I could do since I started using these two tools. Now, Akiflow also added one AI feature that I'm genuinely surprised with, and that doesn't happen very often nowadays. Without me having to do anything, Akiflow automatically assigns tasks imported from Todoist into the relevant Akiflow projects, and so far it hasn't missed. Another really useful feature I love as a software engineer is their super powerful command bar. It allows me to do almost anything I would do in the UI with just my keyboard. I just press Command K and I start typing what I want to do. And we just scratched the surface here. With Akiflow, you can also view stats for your productivity, define your availability for meetings, and share that with people. And if that wasn't enough, Akiflow integrates with all the services you already use to be productive. Gmail, Slack, Todoist, Notion, Asana, Trello, and more. And I know a lot of you are software engineering students, so if that's the case, you can get 40% off when selecting student after signing up and using the code StudentFocus40. Thank you so much to Akiflow for being the first sponsor on this channel and building a genuinely cool product for productivity nerds like me. And now let's take a look at what really happens with my money and how much I really take home. Plus the mistake I made that to this day has cost me well over $100,000. The $164,640 that I get as my base salary translates to me getting about $13,720 each month. From there, the first thing that will happen is an automatic deduction that will go towards my retirement account. It's in my best interest to do so because Microsoft will match 50% of my contributions. There's a limit to this set by the government, of course, and in 2024, that is $23,000. That means that if I max out my contributions, Microsoft will basically be giving me an extra $11,500 per year, so it's definitely worth doing. All this to say that I immediately deduct $1,783 from my gross paycheck every month for this. After some other minor adjustments, my taxable income ends up being about $11,907, and from this, around $3,090 goes to taxes. Then comes my ESPP contribution, which stands for Employee Stock Purchase Plan, and it's basically a way for me to purchase stock at a slight discount, and you could technically sell it immediately and keep the gains from the discount, so it's usually a good idea to take advantage of this. In my case, every month I set aside about $1,100 for ESPP, and that gets deducted as well. The last deduction I have before getting to my net paycheck is my after-tax 401k contribution, which is a little extra I set aside as a tax-advantaged investment, and it's currently about $970. Subtracting some minor opt-in extra benefits that we get, we land on a net paycheck of $6,690. So let's see where that goes. The first thing that happens when the money hits my account is an automatic pre-programmed deduction towards my savings account of $400. This allows me to rest easy that whatever money I see in my checking account already accounted for my monthly savings. Next up is rent, which is really expensive where I live, so I pay $2,220, and the rest of my fixed costs like phone, internet, groceries, transportation, and health add up to about $740. Next up is my subscriptions, which are one of my bigger expenses at the moment. I am paying about $190 every month right now across all subscriptions. This includes entertainment, productivity, and YouTube stuff like art lists so that I have quality visuals and soundtrack for my videos. Okay, and now we get to a category I like to call guilt-free spending. Like the name suggests, these are the things that I like spending money on and I shouldn't feel guilty doing so. I got this concept from an awesome book titled I Will Teach You to Be Rich, by the way, in case you're curious. Here I have dining out or takeout for $150, clothing $100, shopping $100, travel $1,000. I know this is abnormally high at the moment, but I've been having to travel a lot this year. Online endeavors, including this channel, $600, and miscellaneous stuff, $385. This leaves us with $500 remaining, which right now are almost exclusively going towards paying for my wedding. I am very fortunate to have a job that pays this well, but I still can't help to sometimes beat myself up for this mistake I made almost 7 years ago. I did not negotiate my offer. I didn't know better at the time, but it's one of those things that can result in a significant increase in your signing bonus. And today, the value of that extra stock would be worth a lot of money. This is only one of the mistakes I've made with regards to my finances. So if you have time, I highly recommend that you go watch my video on the rest of my worst money mistakes here. Anyways, it feels a bit weird to share this so openly, so I hope you got some value from it and it helps you in your own financial journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.